You're a good footballer?
Oh, I mean, they called me Pogba back in the day. Do it right the first time, you never have to do it again.
Hey guys, welcome to our fourth episode of No Rucks Given. We're the podcast that showcases the life stories, the come-up stories of professional rugby players. My name's Paul Brown and I play for Exeter Chiefs, and I'm joined by my co-host,
Ross Vincent, also Exeter Chiefs player.
And today we have the absolute pleasure of being able to be joined by a friend of the podcast and one of our teammates, an absolute man mountain, a man who at only 23 years old has 15 international caps for Wales and 55 caps for Exeter Chiefs. And that is, of course, Mr. Christ Tshiunza.
Hey guys, thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming on.
So before we dive into your story, Christ, I want to say thank you so much for coming onto the podcast. We'll start with an easy one. So how are things going for you rugby-wise at the moment?
Things are good. Well, last year we all know Exeter had a tough run, didn't we? So, this season, I think you could tell all the boys put in like a big effort through this pre-season, and myself included, and we got ourselves to a good spot. So things are good at the moment at the club. And
you personally, what's going on?
Why
are we not seeing you on the pitch?
Yeah, I'm injured at the moment. So unfortunately, I've been sidelined for a couple of months with a foot injury, but I'll be back in a couple of weeks. I'll be back in a couple of weeks.
So we're going to dive straight in to your life story. And we're going to start off with your early life. So, yeah, tell us about that. Tell us about where you grew up.
I grew up, I was actually born in the Congo. Memories of Congo they're like really like faint dreams. Every now and again, I'll close my eyes and I can see myself in our house back in Congo. But so I was born there. And then I moved over to Wales when I was very young, at the age of 7.
We'll get onto the Wales part, but I want to know before we get onto Wales, like, do you actually have any tangible like early memories from Congo?
I tell you what, I have one of my memories from Congo is I remember when we were in school, and one of the kids in the class must have misbehaved, and for some reason all I remember is getting a whack in the hand. Thinking, that hurt. But
they don't do detentions back there, do they?
No detentions there. I remember that would obviously that got burnt in my memory. I remember getting a little whack on the hand by one of the teachers.
Because someone else misbehaved.
Yeah, someone else misbehaved.
It's never his fault, is it?
And the whole class got it. It was crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah, the whole class got a ruler to the hand.
Some crazy.
I got like a really faint memory of walking to school once and then seeing a snake on the floor. So my house and my school at the time, it was like a 5-10 minute walk. So my parents let me walk to school in the mornings.
And, like, 5 years old?
Yeah, I was like 5-6.
Okay.
Yeah. So they let me. It was literally like a 5-10 minute walk, but they let me walk. And I remember seeing a snake on the floor, and I actually went really close to it, and it like hissed at me, and I was like, I would do that again. And I remember I ran to school. So just like little like memories like that would stand out to you as a child, but other than that, nothing too vivid from Congo really.
And what type of family were you born into?
Big family. Got 4 older sisters. Big family. That was pretty normal in the Congo to have big families. You'd see families in 9s, 10s. I'm pretty sure my mother is one of like 42.
42? What? Same mother, same father?
Yeah. Well, funny enough, my grandfather was actually also called Vincent.
No way.
Yeah, Vincent. So I think he was like kind of like the ruler of his little village.
Yeah.
Wherever.
It's well.
Yeah. You got a strong name, right?
Very strong name heritage. So big family in the Congo, and big Christian family as well. And then at that time, just before we moved over, Congo wasn't the safest place to live. Just like a lot of local militia, and a lot of the local residents being mad at the government and stuff. So at that point, it wasn't really a safe place to live. So our parents thought that it might be safer to, get us over to the UK for better education and just a safer safer living really in general. And that's obviously when we as a family moved over to the UK.
How old are you at that point?
I was 7, so I turned about 7, and the way it was explained to me was, we're just going away for a bit. And, you know, as a 7-year-old, you don't really understand what's going on. You don't see the news, you don't see really what's unsafe around you in terms of like where you live, because you're kind of shielded as a 7-year-old. So I didn't really understand all of that initially. So I got told, we're just moving away for a bit, and then, I don't know, a bit turned into 16 years, so we're still
crazy.
here. Still here.
And in the DRC, you're speaking French as well, right?
Yeah, we're speaking French. Yeah, so French is the main language there.
Yeah,
it's colonized by the Belgium a long time ago. So they kind of brought the French language over, and then so French is now the national language there.
It's interesting that your family then picked like a English. Well, I guess you know the Welsh have their own language, but predominantly English-speaking country. Like, do you know why they picked Wales?
I don't really think we had a say in that matter, because we came over as asylum seekers, because Congo was very unsafe at the time. We came over as asylum seekers, and the UK is pretty good at looking after families that come over for reasons like that. So we didn't really have a say. We just thought, you know, where would be the best place to live as a family as we are, and we couldn't really be fussy about which country we went to, as we were just pretty much looking for safety and education, really.
Yeah. So you rock up in Cardiff, you know, a place that you now call home.
Yeah. Damn. That's me, young 7-year-old, my 4 sisters. Yeah.
Still kind of have the same smile.
You do.
So you're moving from probably quite a warm climate to a bit dark, dingy, a bit grey. Like, do you remember any initial thoughts of
I
Wales
came,
at that point in time?
luckily I came over, I think we came over in like June, July or something like that. It was still quite warm. So coming over from the Congo to the UK around June, July, it was like just slightly less, you know, breezy, but, you know, it was still warm. And then I remember my first winter. I remember my first winter in the UK, and first time seeing snow as well. As like a 7-8-year-old, you're thinking, "What?
What's going on here?"
Yeah, I remember my first Christmas, and people explaining to me, you know, Santa comes around, you know, in the winter, and he comes down the chimney and brings you presents. I'm thinking, we haven't even got chimneys in the Congo. We got ACs. Santa's not coming down any ACs. So just adjusting to little things like that, like weather and culture was tough at the start, and also language, couldn't speak English. So that was a bit tough as well. I remember when we first came over, and there was a parents' evening, and obviously we didn't really know the British culture and stuff. It was a parents' evening, and we didn't really know what the crack was. So my mum made all the teachers like Congolese food, thinking that that's what you did to go like you appreciate the teacher on that day, and like the parents come in, the families come in, and it's like a big party. So my mum made the teachers like fufu and everything.
Oh, they eat fufu in Congo.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we brought it to the parents' evening, and when they called out my name, we sat down with all the food, and the teachers were thinking, "What is going on? We're just here to talk about your son learning English."
Yeah,
it was like, and we bought because of just adjusting to culture. So
that's pretty
wholesome.
Really
Didn't know what the crack was.
Did they have some of it?
No, they weren't allowed. They weren't allowed to have any.
Well, in case you're poisoning them.
Yeah.
And so obviously you're trying to learn a new language as well, like you mentioned. Probably makes fitting in at school quite hard. How did that all pan out for you when you were in school and you were trying to relate to people? How do you do that?
Yeah, so when we did come over again, like I said, we couldn't really be fussy about where we lived. So we got put in a council home at the time, not in the best area. So the local school was just inherently wasn't also the best school. So the school I went to, it was tough fitting in. Initially, I had people from all walks of life as well trying to fit in. So the first year or two, it was really hard making friends. I couldn't speak the language. Like, how do you make friends with people you can't communicate with? So that was tough. And then eventually, I loved football when I was in Congo. You just play with all the neighbors' kids. So eventually, like at lunchtimes and stuff in primary school, I started playing with just a couple mates. Still couldn't speak English. I was just playing football with some of my friends, and then eventually they're like, you're actually not bad. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how we became friends. I had a lot of non-verbal friendships. My first 2-3 years of being in the UK, just like, he's good at football, and kind of connect over that. So we'll just play football at lunchtime. We don't really need to talk about anything. So I spent probably the first 2 years just with non-verbal communication and non-verbal friendships. But it was I became pretty fluent in English very quickly. Just because you do as a kid, you pick up things a lot quicker than most elder people. So I picked up English quicker than my parents and my sisters and stuff, which then made it easier as I got on through primary school.
That's the great thing about guys, you know, you don't even have to speak. You just have to do something.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
A shared interest.
Like Bacho at the moment. It's quite hard to obviously speak to him.
Yeah.
Like you just
He's
connect
getting
with
better.
him.
You connect with him just because, you have common interests. Common
That's
interests. It was a lot like that.
For those that don't know, Bachu is one of our teammates who's come from Georgia. Speaks very little English.
Not our producer, it's that over there.
Yeah, that's Batch though. All right. So sport kind of helps you navigate, social boundaries, get used to the culture. And it was initially football.
Yeah, initially football. Yeah, I loved football. That's all I'd known. Yeah.
And obviously in Wales, rugby is quite big in itself. Like,
absolutely, yeah.
How did that phase its way into?
Well, I actually remember my first early memory of rugby in Wales, and that was again way before high school where I started playing rugby. So I was still in primary school, and I remember I was in the city centre on a Wales game day. So I was probably 9, 10. So this probably would have been around 2010, 2011 ish. And in Wales were playing that weekend, and this is my first experience now of an international game day. One, I don't know what rugby is. I haven't got the slightest clue. And I remember our family organised something in town, and we went into town, all the roads were closed. We're thinking, what's going on here? And then we go down one of the roads and we just see a sea of people in red shirts. We're thinking, what is going on? I didn't have a clue what rugby was. I didn't understand what was going on. So that's actually one of my first early memories of Welsh rugby. And by then I was like, wow, these people love it. It was crazy. Wales were doing really well. So back then I was thinking, wow, these people love it. Rugby's huge here. And that's probably the only interaction I had with rugby all the way up until high school then.
Okay. So you're still playing football in primary, and that's what...
Yeah.
Did you think you wanted to be a professional sportsman at that age, or was it just like you was playing for fun and the love of it?
Yeah, I was just playing for fun.
I
love football. From coming here, it helped me make friends as well. So I was just like, I do like it. I had my cousins already here in the UK as well, and they played football. So, it's quite a social sport as well. So that's just all I did up until high school then.
You're a good footballer?
Oh, I mean, they called me Pogba back in the day. They called me Pogba.
I think that was because of his ability.
Where were you?
I was
look at those limbs.
I was like a CDM. I couldn't shoot, but I could dribble my way out of any trouble.
Yeah,
and I was always a bit bigger than most kids as well, so I could always use my body around and bully some kids out.
Look how long the legs are.
Good to see his cars are still the same size.
So that photo there is actually from so way before I picked up a rugby ball. That would have been like year 7 or year 8.
How tall are you then?
Oh, maybe I couldn't tell you. Yeah. Maybe like 5'10", 5'11".
You can faintly see the guy next to him.
Maybe 5'10", 5'11", and basically that's all I did really. I did athletics. I was fast. I was rangy. So I just did athletics, and that's me doing high jump there. I got a couple of high jump records for the school, for my school with church, and that's all I did really. I did athletics and I played football. I didn't really care much about rugby at the time really.
So let's fast forward to high school.
Yeah.
Rugby, it kind of comes into your sphere. Who's the person that introduced it to you?
Yeah, so initially, one of my best mates, Joel, who I'm still friends with, we've literally been friends for like 12 years now. He played rugby and he was really good. And he brought me along to one of the training sessions in around year 9. And I went, no, I don't like this. This is rubbish. Like I can't kick the ball when I want. I was like, nah, this is rubbish. I was getting the ball thrown to me, and I was just like kind of panicking and throwing it. I was like, nah, this ain't for me. So then I was like, nah, I don't want to play this. And then we got to year 10 then, and one of my school teachers was like, mate, you're bigger than a lot of these blokes. Just give it a go. Spend a couple months with me and just take it seriously for a couple months. If you don't like it, then you don't have to do it. But let's just give it a go. So I was like, oh, you know what, yeah, I'll give it a go. And then I just started enjoying it then. Again, he was like, when you catch the ball, don't worry about passing or kicking, just run. And I was like, because I was bigger and faster than most kids as well, I was like, you know what, this is actually all right. I was just catching the ball and just running, and then I ended up scoring a couple of tries. So there's a picture just before this of year 9, me in year 9, where I had no interest in it. I was right at the back in one of the posts. I just got told to go along. My school were in one of the finals. And I didn't play, I don't think. I was just one of the back, and my school had won. And the lad in the middle to my left there, he was holding up the trophy in the picture before, literally the year before. And then by year 10, the next year, which is this year, I was captain, and we actually won again. And then it's me holding up the trophy, which I was like, this is sick. From the year before, I was in the back, no interest. Next year, I'm lifting up the trophy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of how it birthed, and then I was like, you know, I'm actually all right at this. We'll give it a good go.
Do you remember the name of the guy who introduced it to you? Was it Steve or?
So Steve then came around year 11, year 10, year 11, and then he was like, because at that time around year 10, I was just playing it like any other kid plays any sport really, and then so this guy Steve.
Tell us who he is.
The myth, the legend. He's been around for a long time. He's coached people who, God knows, who have kids and families now, who are probably grandfathers he's coached. So he was at the school. I met him in around year 11, and then he was like, listen, mate, you should start taking this seriously. So he actually played for a couple teams pretty high up. He played for French clubs as well. So he was like, and he was born and raised in Kenya. So just from that natural African heritage side of things, we got on really well, and we had a lot of respect for each other. And then he was like, mate, come under my wing. Let's take this seriously. And he was only just a coach at my school in Whitchurch, and he'd coached Sam Warburton and stuff. And he was like, mate, come under my wing. Well, let's take this rugby thing seriously. And then we went through the ranks. I went through the ranks then. That's through him really. I started playing properly under Cardiff Academy then. So I actually owe a lot to him. Otherwise I probably wouldn't have taken rugby as seriously as I ended up taking it.
Mate, he sounds like a top bloke.
Yeah, top bloke. I mean, a lot of people don't like him, but he's one of those.
Why not?
He's so old school.
Okay.
He's just so old school. Like he's black. He's very black and white, and he's just to the point. And a lot of people don't like that, but he just says things bluntly, and that's why I was like, you know what, yeah, I'll listen to you. And then, he taught me how to do certain things, taught me how to like goosey, taught me how to step and stuff.
I wouldn't call you a goosey. It's more like an ostrich.
Back in the day, he used to be a goosey. He used to be a goosey back in the day. So he actually taught me a lot. So I actually owe a lot to him.
Yeah.
In all fairness.
It kind of sounds like, early on, you just picked it up so quickly. Aside from, your natural stature and natural ability, what helped you progress so quickly in the game?
I would genuinely have to say Steve again, because like I said, he coached Sam Warburton. So yeah, that's there on my debut day. I gave him my match jersey, and I was like, I wouldn't have worn that match day jersey at my Wales debut if it wasn't for him. So I was like, this jersey's as much yours as it is mine. So he's actually got that hung up in his office at our school.
That's awesome.
So again, I would genuinely have to say him because, like I said, he coached Sam Warburton and a couple players before that as well that didn't necessarily end up going pro but played at a high level. And he knew a lot, and it was just more of how could he transfer that knowledge to me. So we actually ended up spending a lot of time together because, again, I was quite a studious kid. I'm still studious now. I've got a very studious personality. So I actually took the time to sit down, listen to him, and try and implement as much as I could what he was feeding to me.
Sick.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we've kind of hopped through your early years. I want to go into more detail about, so you're playing schoolboy, that's going well for you as we saw the trophies and stuff. And then Cardiff Rugby Academy, you mentioned very briefly. Yeah. Like, how did that come about? At what stage in your rugby career, like how long had you been playing before Cardiff comes calling and you're in an academy system?
So I think I started with Cardiff, if I recall correctly, around Cardiff under 16s. And I think I'd be playing rugby for probably, I dabbled probably 2 years prior, but then 1 year prior, under 16 level, that's when I started taking it seriously. So I probably had one full season of rugby before then. Cardiff under 16, Cardiff Academy were like, mate, look, it's now regional age grade rugby. We'll select you and see how you get on. And so then that was probably my first real intense experience of rugby then, where I'm playing with other kids who is just as big, just as fast. So at that point then I was like, right, this is my first real challenge. I did all right then. So I stayed. Yeah, so that's me playing Cardiff under 16 with some of my mates from school. We all got picked together. And then at that point then, it was like Cardiff under 18s then. Again, my mates who were getting picked to school alongside me, just the numbers just started getting smaller and smaller. And I was like, look, this is actually pretty real. If I have one bad season, I might not be in the squad next year. Yeah, so it got to that point. I just started taking this more and more seriously, just based on like the first year Cardiff under 16, there might have been like 7 of us selected, and then by under 18, there was like 3 or 2 of us there. So I was like, I actually got to take this seriously, otherwise, I might get cut out of this team. So that's kind of how Cardiff Rugby came along.
Rewind to a tour you had. I think it must have been under 16s, where our paths actually crossed.
Okay.
Pure coincidence. I don't even know if you remember this, but you went on a tour to Dubai.
Yeah.
Was it Whitgift? That's your school.
Whitchurch, yeah.
And I was it under 15, under 16? I think
that was a bit later on. It might have been under 16.
It must have been under 16.
Yeah, under 16, yeah.
And it was a 10s tournament. And I remember being, I think it was I was maybe the year below, just because of the way
were you there?
I was there. And we remember seeing this absolute specimen. Just
You're allowed to say big black guy, bro. You're allowed to say that.
I'm not going to say this absolute specimen. You were probably the same size as yours now. Maybe not as filled out. But we were thinking, oh my fuck, we cannot be playing against this guy. I'm so grateful that I did not get to not have to play against you.
It's one of those ones where you look at them thinking, I hope he's someone's dad. I hope he's someone's dad.
And then you guys did quite. Do you remember how you did in that tournament? I actually can't
We won
remember.
that tournament.
Did you win it?
Yeah, we won that tournament. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks to this guy.
There you go. Cheat code. So yeah, you mentioned just before that under 16, under 18, you realise you need to take rugby seriously.
Yeah.
As someone who's African, and I don't know, my understanding of African parents they're quite streamlined in terms of what they want you to achieve. Academics are really, really important. Lawyer, doctor,
absolutely,
engineer, yeah.
Absolutely.
So you can relate to that. How did you like pose this career option that they had no idea about to them?
It didn't go down well at the start. Yeah, it didn't go that well at the start. I remember it. Again, I would have been probably like 14, 15 at the time. I knock on my mum's room and I walk in and I say, Mum, look, I got a game on the weekend. It's a sport that I don't really know. I want to start, I want to give it a go. And she's like, rugby. I was like, yeah, it's called rugby. And she's like, what is that? Because she had no idea what rugby was. Again, she never watched sport. All she knows is football and basketball, really.
Yeah.
So she's like, put it on YouTube. So I typed in rugby, put it on YouTube, showed her. And by the end, she had a TV in her room, and I remember we were watching it together. And by the end of it, she looked at me, she goes, absolutely not.
Oh.
So that didn't go down well at the start. And then I was like, look, Mum, there's something I actually genuinely want to try, and I'm not just saying it because all she saw when she watched that was just men hitting each other, and it was a highlight reel.
Yeah,
it was a highlight reel. Yeah, biggest hits. Yeah, like people getting smashed, and she was like, absolutely not happening. Anyways, I still played.
Okay,
still played, and then I
bet she's happy you did.
Yeah, she's happy now, but. Yeah. At the start, she didn't take it well, only because she didn't know what it was. She didn't understand it. So at that time, like you said, it was I'm either playing football, basketball, or becoming a doctor.
Yeah.
Those were my only options. At one point, she nearly sent me to America to play basketball. I was like, that's not what's happening here.
Rugby's the way.
Yeah. So at the start, my family didn't take it. They didn't take it at all. And I remember I played probably almost every single game of my childhood with like no family support, which I was all right with, just because I knew that they like it's something they have no interest in. Like I wouldn't go do something that I have no interest in. I wouldn't go watch. So I could understand why none of my sisters or parents wanted to come watch any of my games initially. So yeah, that was pretty much how.
Did that affect you? I guess like as a young kid, because as I said, rugby in Wales is massive. In England, it's massive. You probably have your mates and their parents, their dads watching their game or whatever. Did that have any effect on you?
So at the start, again, like I said, we came to the UK with basically nothing. So we didn't have a car. None of my parents had a driving license or anything. So we took buses everywhere, or we took cars. So when it came to going to trainings or stuff like that, I always went with my friends and their parents. So their parents, as the years got on and their parents kept taking me to training, their parents almost kind of started becoming like my extended family. So I have like 2 or 3 friends where their parents I generally see as my parents, because we spend so much time together. We basically spent every weekend together, pre-training, post-training. They take me everywhere because we didn't have a family car or anything. So we'd spend every weekend together. So it got to a point where I'd look over to the side and I'd see my friend's dad, and I'm like, yeah, that's like my dad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's cool.
So like my parents really being there, it didn't even become like a thought anymore. It was just like, I'm just going to try and do as well as I can in the sport and see where it takes me, really. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And, did you have a question?
No, I was just thinking about our last episode with Lewis and how he was talking about how his dad was very grounding. Made sure that he understood that he was, this is not the be all and end all. And I was just wondering, like, obviously with your mates' parents, did they sort of try and guide you in that rugby journey, in that rugby sense?
No, not necessarily, again, because we were still young. There was just more, at that time, it's still just, boys, we just want you to enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
Have fun and enjoy the game. But my mother did, she said, look, it got to a point where I was like, Mum, look, I actually want to take this seriously. And she said, look, that's fine, but always make sure you have a backup. So it got to that point where she was like, look, regardless of what happened, we agreed that I'd get a uni degree out of it as well. So that's kind of how the relationship between my mother and rugby got on, because in her mind, she was like, okay, my son's doing this thing he loves and he's still doing this degree, which he's promised me. So, I'll actually start taking interest in the other stuff he's doing because he's agreed that he'll do this degree as well.
Yeah. And you were succeeding on both fronts. Like, you're flying through your academy league stuff, and you got international honours from, was it under 16s onwards?
Wales stuff, under 18 onwards.
Under 18s onwards, yeah. Let's touch on that part of your early career. You've already said you realised that rugby was really quite important to you up until that point. What did this experience add to that?
So again, under 18, I actually realised.
This is under 18? Oh,
no, that's
under 20.
That's under 20. That's my first year of under 20.
Yeah. We'll
Dav, one of our
Who's
teammates.
fish lips over there?
Yeah, so at under 18s, I felt like I kind of plateaued, because at that point, it was the point where I realised being big and fast isn't enough. You really do need to have more. But I couldn't have had more because I never took interest in rugby. I was just bigger and faster than everyone in school, so I did well. So I got to under 18 Wales. I kind of plateaued because everyone else was just as good, just as big, just as strong. So at my under 18, I probably flatlined a bit, and then that's kind of where my Exeter Chiefs story comes along. Then and then I did under 20s, and then we went up again.
So let's talk a bit about that Exeter fold. So that happens between under 18s and under 20s.
So the Exeter thing happened around the age of 17.
Okay.
Yeah, the age of 17. You want to hear the story about it?
Yeah, no, please.
So my school went to a rugby tournament. What tournament? Not Roslyn.
St. Joseph's?
St. Joseph's, that's the one.
Was that the Tens one?
No, that's the one where Lewis was.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah.
That exact
big
one.
festival.
Yeah, big festival. So my school went to St. Joseph's. We're the only Welsh school that gets invited to that, because it's an English tournament. So we go there, and again, like you said, it's a Tens tournament. I actually ended up I did all right. I played well. My school struggled against the other big private English schools, because my school's just a normal, small, school in Wales. So we struggled against the other big schools, but I stood out for my team. So then that weekend happens. We go back to school, And then next thing I know, that following week, I get pulled into one of my coach. I think it was actually Steve's office. And he goes, "Oh, we got a coach from Exeter Chiefs who is, I think he was one of them was a scout at the St. Joseph's tournament, and I think he wants Exeter Chiefs, the team Exeter Chiefs might be interested." At that point, I had no idea. I still don't watch rugby at this point. As in, I don't watch like the Prem. You know what I mean? I watch Wales play.
Yeah.
I don't watch the Prem. So I was like, Exeter Chiefs. So I Googled him. I was like, oh. All right.
Not bad.
Yeah, they're all right. At that point as well, I was like, I was growing up in Cardiff. I just thought I would just sign. So I'm 17, you sign at around 18, 19. Yeah. So I was like,
and Cardiff kind of telling you we're keeping you. And...
Yeah. So Cardiff were like, yeah, we got a future and a plan for you here. We'll sign you when you reach 18. And then just before I sign, this rugby tournament happens, and a scout who I think he's still at Exeter, Rob Gibson, he gets in touch, and then so we get on the phone. And then Rob Gibson himself comes down and we have a chat, and I'm like, this is actually all right. And then Steve Williams was also like, Exeter a good team. They got good values as a team as well. And so we were kind of leaning that way. And then Cardiff Academy at that time as well were like, Chris, we think you should stay. You're a Cardiff lad, la-di-la-di-la. And then I remember Rob Baxter did something that I was just like, what the... Because at that point, I didn't know what Exeter Chiefs were. So I'm Googling them and I'm seeing Rob Baxter keep coming up. Rob Baxter's name keeps Baxter. I was like, who's this Baxter guy? This Baxter guy's name keeps coming up on Google. And then I remember, so at this time, I'm in kind of negotiations with Exeter and Cardiff, and I'm 17 and I'm like, what's going on? So then I get my my agent, Derwin. And then, so again, we're still in this kind of battle of, do I go Exeter? Do I stay here in Cardiff? And then Rob Baxter did something that I was just like, whoa. He came to my school unannounced. I'm a young 17-year-old lad, and all I'd been Googling was Rob Baxter. And then I see this guy pull up to my school, and I'm like, is anyone seeing this?
What were you doing at the time? Were you in class, or you in
I think he was like,
or...
no, it was in the morning. I think I was in the gym, in one of our school gyms. It was in the morning. This from Baxter just pulls up, and I was thinking, what's going on here? And then we had a chat. It was a good chat. Rob Gibson, the scout, was there as well, and Steve Williams was there as well. And we had a good chat. And then when he left, I kind of just deeped out. I was like, you know what? I hate to speak ill on Cardiff, but it was to a point where like the Cardiff coaches are only down the road, 10, 15 minutes down the road, but they've never taken the time to come down and, speak to me one-on-one like that. And as a 17-year-old, it means a lot. Do you know what I mean? Just little things like that. And I'm like, this guy who's running a professional club on the other side of the country is taking his time to come speak to me, a young school lad who means nothing to him. So I was like, that first and foremost, that's the type of man I would want to be. Do you know what I mean? Make time for other people, big or small. That's the type of man I'd want to be. And then I spoke to my mother and family about her as well. And then they were like, oh, you know what, Exeter also have a good uni. Exeter Uni's a good uni. It's got a good reputation. So then it like the pros and cons for Exeter and Cardiff just started stacking up more for Exeter. So then, I ended up coming to Exeter, and that was how I kind of made my move from Cardiff to Exeter. Yeah. By Rob Baxter showing up to my school.
And then you turn up in our locker room straight away? Or were you like doing a bit of uni, doing a bit of Exeter Chiefs?
Like, so then, again, as a 17-year-old lad, he was like, come down. If you don't like it, you don't have to sign. So I came down, took me around the stadium and stuff. That was, I think, the first professional stadium I'd been in, like big stadium. I was like, this is sick. He took me to the change room and stuff, and he was like, yeah, this is where you'll be. You'll be around all the senior boys. I look around, seeing Jack. Again, I didn't know what rugby was back then, so these are only names that I've Googled and seen. I'm seeing Slady, I'm seeing Jack Noah. I'm thinking, well, I get to be in a change room with these lot all day, every day. And they were like, yeah, because in Cardiff, that wasn't the case. In Cardiff, the academy come in at 7 a.m., leave by 9 a.m., and then the senior team come in. Yeah. So then I'm thinking, well, if I get to train alongside all these pros day in, day out, surely that makes me a much better player quicker, because I get to learn of these lot rather than being in an academy where it's just I'm only ever surrounded by academy lads until they deem me better. So I was just like, again, like I said, more pros just started going to Exeter, and then by the time COVID happened, came over, did a couple months with the boys at the club, and then they're like, oh, we need to go to a separate bubble now. We're going to assign some boys to the Exeter Chiefs bubble and then assign some boys to the Exeter Uni bubble. So then I got assigned to Exeter Uni bubble, where then I just spent a couple months with the Exeter Uni boys till the bubble thing stopped, and then I went back into the club then.
Okay. So you never ended up playing a Bucks game for uni, or?
I played 2.
Okay.
I played 2, and yeah, that's it. Funny enough, my first Bucks game was against Cardiff.
Yeah, okay.
And then my second Bucks game was
Swansea, was it?
No, purple team up north.
Durham?
Leeds.
Oh,
Leeds,
okay. I was going to
Leeds.
say, I would have played you then.
Leeds.
Okay, Leeds.
And
Okay.
actually, again, funny enough, this is how my selection for Wales happened. Right?
Okay,
It's brilliant.
go on. As in Wales under 20s or
No,
Wales men's team?
Wales men's senior team.
Okay, yeah.
It's Wednesday. I
Yeah.
wake up, just waking up, just about to roll out of bed. I got a game now. My first uni game. I'd already played for Exeter Chiefs at this point.
Yeah, okay.
But they put us into a bubble, so I had to go back into to Exeter Uni.
Yeah.
I get picked to play for Exeter University, my first game ever. So again, Wednesday morning comes, game day. I wake up and I'm like, missed call from unknown number. Thinking, what's going on here? I call the number back, and it's the Wales coach, and he's like, because they tell you before they name the team online, and he was like, we've liked how you've played for your first couple of games for Exeter. We're really impressed. We'd like you to come join. Well, we're going to select you for the Wales team starting in, I don't know, a couple weeks. I'm thinking, mate, you know I got a Bucks game later, right? I got a Bucks game against Cardiff in 3 hours.
You're playing that game and you're probably like wrapping yourself up in cotton wool, like you don't want to injure yourself.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't tell anyone, because I was like, I got a game. I don't want it to ruin anything. I'm just purely, it's my first game for uni as well.
Yeah.
You want to make a good impression.
Yeah.
So we play first half. I do all right. We go in a changing room. By the time I come out for second half, the Wales team gets named online. So now, and I could tell that people kind of know, because I'm walking out the changing room to go play second half, and people are staring at you a bit different. You're looking at your phone, pointing.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, what's going on here? Has the team come out? And by heart, and then by like halfway through second half, Cardiff start chanting stuff. And I'm thinking, all right, the team must be, again, I haven't been on my phone because I'm mid-game. So I'm like, okay, the team must have been out now.
What were they saying?
And I'm thinking, oh, pressure's on it. And I mean, Welsh bant is different. So then, like, I would do something, and then the crowd would be like, oh, no, sir, that can't be a penalty. He's a Welsh international now or something. And then, like, people would be shouting, oh, like, ref, he knows more than you. He's a Welsh international now. So I'm
That's
thinking,
good chat to be
all right, the team must be out now.
But
And
Daff was also playing that uni game, wasn't it?
yeah, he was.
And he would have been announced as well.
So we didn't get announced same time.
Did you not?
Dav played for Wales, I think, the year after me.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, I think Dav played for Wales the year after me. But yeah, mid-game, I was thinking, right, the team must be out now. I got to do something cool. So I started throwing.
You let it get to your head.
Yeah.
Let it get to your head.
Not that. It was just purely more, I don't want people watching me and going, why on earth is this guy being picked for Wales?
Valid,
do you know what I mean?
valid,
So I was
valid.
like, right, I got to do something cool now. Pull something out the
Did
bag.
you get the goosey out?
I got the goose. Yeah, I remember I threw one of the backs at Arthur Ralton, and yeah.
You probably scored. Unbelievable try record.
Yeah, so
Tell you
yeah,
about
that's basically how Wales happened.
Oh, mate, that's such a cool story. And
Yeah.
so you get into camp and you do your first camp.
Yeah,
Do you remember the first like few faces that you met?
these weird stories keep coming up. I remember. I say this.
You could say it.
Yeah, okay.
Edit to that, worst case.
So I go into camp because I'm not based in Cardiff at that point, because I live in Exeter now. I have to be in camp a day before, because everyone else lives 10, 15, 20 minutes away, so they can just turn up the morning of first day. But I have to be there a day before, check in, make sure everything's all good, pick up my kit. And so I remember I go into camp, go downstairs. First person I see is Alwyn Jones by himself, sat there in a table, hood up. And I'm thinking, right, I peek by the door just because, you kind of have to have a look at what situation you're about to walk into. I peek by the door, it's Alwyn Jones sat there, hood up. I'm thinking, this guy's got 120, 130 caps for Wales. Doesn't know who I am. Do I go in there and speak to him? Do I go in there, pretend he's not there? I was like, in my head, I was like, I don't know what to do. So I was 18, 19, I think at that time. I just walked past him and I go to the physio room just to get screened the day before. And then that's where I met our head physio, Prav, who, good lad. And he was like, oh, just go speak to Al, And like, Al, he's got a reputation for being like, if he likes you, he'll speak to you. If he doesn't, he'll still speak to you, but you probably get a bit less of him. So yeah, I went, hi Al, my name's Chris. I think I'll be with you guys tomorrow. And he's like, is it? Shook my hand. And I was like, oh, this is pretty awkward. We just had one of those like, and then I walked up to my room after then. And then next day, everyone's just welcoming there and everyone's like, this is class. I remember one person who stood out for me was Dan Bigger, just because he's got such a big persona as a person. And I just didn't think he would be the way he was. He was so friendly. Like, no matter who you were, he was friendly too. And I thought it would be like, big dog kind of personality, but he was the complete opposite. Took me in. He was very friendly as well, which helped, which helped massively.
And that camp goes well for you because, a couple of weeks later, you're at the Principality. You're singing "Land of My Fathers" at home against Fiji.
Fiji, yeah.
What was that experience like?
Again, like I said, when I went to that camp, I had no expectation. I just thought it'd be a good learning block. Get in, learn a bit, play along, train alongside some good players, and then go home, hopefully take my learns to Exeter. But apparently, the coach deemed me good enough to play, so he picked me for the third game of that autumn series, and I was against Fiji, and it was class. Yeah, I was so surprised to have even been selected. And I knew one of the coaches beforehand as well because he coached me for 20s. And I remember, again, just little things like the night before the game, he slipped a little note under my door, and it was basically saying, "Listen, mate, I've worked with you for years. Don't stress about tomorrow. Just go out and do your best. Enjoy it. Take the whole thing in. Take the whole day in, and don't stress if you don't play well. It's all good." And I saw that note, and I was like, that's a nice touch. That. Went to sleep. Next day comes, and then like it doesn't really hit you that you're about to play a game until you're on the bus. Until you're on the bus and you drive down Westgate Street, and basically half the stadium is on that street, and they all clap you in, and you're like, oh, this is serious now. This is serious now. Have you done that? Have you played Wales at home yet?
In Wales.
Yeah. Have you? Have you driven down that road? Yeah.
Yeah, but they're not there.
They're not there for you. Yeah. So that's when it hit me. I was like, yeah, this is class. I was like, this is amazing. And then again, I'm on the bench, still no hopes of coming on. I think it was a tight game as well against Fiji at that point. I don't know if we were up by a couple of points or if we were losing by a couple of points, but get the call to come on as sub. Came on probably around 60 minutes. I did my best, really. Gave everything I didn't know when I get the chance to play again for Wales. So I chucked the kitchen sink at it, as anyone would, and then did all right, and then got picked again to play the following week against Australia. Again, I was thinking, what was going on? I didn't know anyone's name in the Australian team as well. People are telling me, I remember telling my friends, they're telling me, oh, you're playing against so-and-so, you're playing against Curly Beale. I'm like, Curly who? I'm like,
that's mental.
That's wild. That is so wild.
I just hear.
Maybe that's the best way to do it, because then in that case, like, you're not like,
ignorance is bliss.
Or whatever.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, but I don't know any of these players. I'm just going to chuck it around for a bit and see what happens.
Chuck your weight around.
Yeah, see what happens.
Incredible. And I'm assuming by this point, like, your family are maybe catching on to, okay, this is a big deal. Yeah. Like, Chris is succeeding at this.
So, again, funny enough, the first game that all my family members came to was my first Wales game. And I'd played a lot of games before then, but again, they still didn't take much interest.
That's your first ever?
Brilliant.
That's my first game that my whole family came to. Was my first Wales game. They probably sound like a really bad family. They're not. No. They are supportive, but they were just more supportive from far away. Because again, they didn't really know rugby. They didn't really care much for it. So that was my first game. My whole family came to it, and it was class. Again, they still don't pay that much attention to rugby. They just watch the games that I play. But I got one sister, Gracia, now, who absolutely loves it.
Okay,
yeah, cool. She absolutely loves it. She works in a hospital, and all her patients that come in, they're always like talking about rugby with her, and she absolutely loves it. She loves South Africa as well. She loves the South African team, and she's always like, "Oh, can you get me to talk to
Does she
someone?"
come to games? Does
Yeah.
she come to games here or when?
Again, she works,
Wales
so like
games
it's tough for her to come on weekends. She's a nurse, so she kind of works weird hours. But she comes to like all the games that she comes to. She comes to all the Wales games. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she got a crush on half the South African rugby team.
That's proper full circle. That
Yeah.
So your family moved to the country and they're walking up Westgate Street. Is that what it's called? Westgate Street?
Westgate Street. Yeah,
And they're seeing all these fans coming out of the stadium, and then now you're in the stadium.
yeah.
And you're playing,
Yeah.
and they're pitch side or in a box somewhere nice watching you play. Like, I guess how does that make you feel?
It's sick, innit? That's all you can say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is sick. Like, I never had any hopes, any aspirations to ever play rugby at even a decent level. And the fact that it's kind of just come across naturally, I think that's probably what's helped, is put less pressure on myself, because I never set myself these targets. So then, I mean, how can I not meet my targets that I never set? So then slowly just like things started coming, and I didn't put any pressure on myself because I had no aspirations to do this really up until probably the point I was like, I'm actually all right now.
Yeah.
So I'll give it a go.
And what point was that? Before playing for Wales or after?
Hopefully before.
Yeah, I'd hope so.
I would say probably my first couple of games for Exeter.
Okay.
I was like, yeah, this is sick.
Yeah.
'Cause again, those were the largest crowds that I had played in.
Mm.
And I was like, this is sick. I could probably go far in this.
Yeah.
It's quite crazy to think that you, like, without even dreaming of playing for your country,
you wind your way up there.
You just work your way up. You just find
kids are dreaming of that from 4 years old, and
You know
then
what I
you
mean?
work your way. Yeah, no, that is awesome. That is really cool.
And also in a weird way as well, because I only started playing initially because of my friends in school. They all wanted to play for Wales. That was like they knew all the rugby players' name. Like when Baxter came to school, they were like, "Oh my god, they're Baxter." And I was like, "I don't know who's this." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then so like when I told them I'd met like Slady and Nosey, they were going crazy. So like in a way, and unfortunately they, like I said, as the academies got on, just less and less of them start getting selected. So in a weird way, I feel like I'm going through this journey, or I did the initial early years of me playing for Wales and stuff was for them. I feel like they were living vicariously through me because that was their dream.
Yeah.
And we're all so close, and unfortunately they never got the chance to.
So Autumn Nations happens, you play incredibly well. Am I right in saying that you picked up an injury at some point?
So Autumn Nations finished in like November.
Yeah.
And then Six Nations came around in the February, the following February. That's when I then picked up a hamstring injury. I had COVID. Literally, it was a nightmare of a camp. I had COVID literally like first week of camp. I get isolated. I get put in isolation in a hotel for like 2 weeks. I come out of isolation. My first training session back, I tear my hamstring. I was like,
like a full tear. Grade.
Off the bone, grade 4.
Grade 4. Wow.
Off the bone, and then it's split into 2. So obviously you then go from being like, oh, this is sick, I'm playing for Wales, as a young kid, it all gets to your head.
Yeah.
To literally like the worst, like one of the worst injuries you could probably do. So it was a very mix of emotion. That period. So I was out for like 6-7 months. Just because I had to have surgery because it was quite a bad one.
Yeah.
So it was a big up and down period for me at that time then.
And yeah, as you said, like crazy peak beforehand.
Yeah.
And then to like a massive trough.
Yeah.
Like how did you handle that as a player who was playing, I guess, for the Welsh men's team in some of the biggest competitions, and now you're rehabbing, like, well, not by yourself, but you're not involved in the setup. How did that feel?
Yeah, that's probably when reality hits of like, damn, this, like, because before you do it, you think you're invincible. Yeah, you think you're invincible. You think nothing can stop you now. Yeah. And as well, when you also have your breakout year, just somehow everything you do comes off. You just kind of ride that wave. Yeah, you just kind of ride that wave. Like, I almost couldn't do anything wrong at the very start, and then I got injured. I'm like, you feel so useless, especially your first big injury. I just felt so useless. So like that was very tough at the start. Yeah, but a couple close people got me through it. It was through that injury actually that I also met my current fiance.
Congratulations!
Yeah, congrats for that. That's awesome, mate.
Yeah, so it was through that injury that happened. She looked after me through that injury, and I was like, you know what, you're a good egg.
Rehab girlfriend turned into fiance.
Yeah,
It's a brilliant story.
Rehab girlfriend turned fiance. Yeah. She was a good egg. She looked after me. But in terms of rugby wise, I was a tough period, and also coming back to rugby after that hamstring injury, they didn't deem me fit enough after that injury to go back straight away and play for Wales, because Wales went on us. So I got injured in February, and then Wales summer tour was in end of July, I think. So I managed to get myself fit for July, thinking that I'd be able to go straight back into the team, the senior team. But then they were like, we don't think that's the right idea at the moment. So then they pushed me back into 20s.
Yeah.
So I did that summer tour with Wales 20s.
To Italy, that one.
Italy, yeah. That's
What was that called? There was summer series.
Yeah. So I ended up doing, but then to me that was just like I felt like not a loser, but like, you know what I mean. I was
like a regression almost.
Yeah, I felt like a little regression playing from senior team to then coming back to playing for 20s. But with that being said, it was a great 20s tour. Actually, I had a lot of fun. Because I'd also played for that senior team, I was able to come down and take my knowledge playing for 20s as well.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of players looked up to me in that 20s camp, which was class because they were also my mates. So that tour actually ended up being a good tour and went to the final.
Beat us
in the final.
Yeah, no, they beat us by
one of the
kick in
games.
one of the games.
One of the
Hawkins
games.
started it from
No way.
45 meters out to win the game.
Yeah.
Won by 3 points.
Yeah, and then that's when in that tournament as well, we played Sasha Feinberg on Mazzulli for the first time, and we played them in the final. I thought there was 4 of him. I thought there was 4 of him. It's crazy because obviously he's just got World Rugby Best Player of the Year or something, didn't he?
Yeah, Rugby Pass.
That's it.
Yeah, number 1. Yeah, which is nuts. I remember playing him for 20s, and I was like, "Who is this kid?" He was playing 10, but I'm pretty sure he threw a pass to himself and hit a hard line. I was like, "What's going on here?" And so yeah, South Africa beat us comfortably in that final. And Sasha broke his hand in the first half of that game, but he could have easily got man of the match from like 30 minutes of playing against him. I was like, who is this kid? And he could have easily got man. He was probably, as opponents go, opponents from similar age, he was probably one of the first players I watched. I think I was watching him play mid-game.
That's never a good one.
That's never a good. I was just watching him play. Yeah, especially in the final. That's probably why we lost. I was just so mesmerized by how he moved and how he moved the ball and how he moved just how he delegated his back line. And I think I just stood there and just watched him play rugby whilst I was playing the same game.
Fair enough, bro.
Yeah. I was like, this guy's class. And then obviously a couple of years go by and he's playing for South Africa.
Enough of this Sasha Glaze. We need to get back onto you.
Sasha Glaze. I'm giving him his props.
We put that clip in of Dafford in that game.
What did he do?
He went into the South Africa circle.
Oh yeah,
grab their water, trying to be all sneaky.
I've seen that.
Trying to get in their head.
That is so good. That's so funny.
And I think Sasha actually comes up and
one of the boys pushes.
We'll try to find that.
That video went viral.
Yeah.
So you get back into your under 20 setup. You know, you work through the feelings of disappointment, maybe feeling like you're regressing, and where does your path lead back into the Welsh men's side? Yeah.
So then there, I go through the building blocks again. Right. Okay. Play well for Chiefs, try and get myself back into that Wales squad. So it was actually after that. So I go play for 20s that summer tour, and then come pre-season, and then September of the following season, it was after that, I was like, right, this is back to grind mode because I want to go back playing for Wales, back to lock-in mode. So it was actually that then was probably my second season playing for Exeter after my hamstring injury, that then was probably my breakout season, because I was just like, I want to get back up to the men's senior team. So yeah, had a good amount of consecutive games as like a 20-year-old for Exeter, and I think I played like 30 games that season as a 20-year-old. So then yeah, got myself back up into the Wales team then.
And was that kind of just in time for the World Cup? Or was that a bit before then?
That was just a bit before.
Yeah.
Again, I've been in and out with a few injuries since then, and then World Cup came around in 2023.
Yeah.
And that was a sick experience in itself.
Yeah, we're going to delve into that a little bit now. So, do you remember where you were when you were named in the World Cup squad?
So what had actually happened is, again, I before the World Cup squad got named out, we did a couple really cool camps. One in Switzerland on the top of a mountain, and then one in Turkey. And I remember Gatland had just brought Tane Plumtree into camp, and he was also kind of like a 6'4" option. And I'm thinking, right, I want to get into this World Cup squad, and he keeps adding more players in my position. So I'm thinking, right, I'm going to have to ball out here. So me and Tane kind of go, because I was just coming back from rehab, so I was kind of running on the side by myself, and Tane had just been flown in and added into camp. So we spent the first like couple of days together running on the side together. So everything I did, I was like, I'm going to have to make sure I beat him here. So that happened. And then it was initially between me or Tane for that World Cup camp initially. And yeah, I managed to get the call for that, which was pretty cool.
Where were you? Were you at home? Were you in?
I actually don't remember. But I do know that my graduation was in between one of the camps. And Joe, I don't actually know where I was. I wish I could tell you. I don't know where I was when they named the team. I was in Exeter for sure.
Yeah.
I was in Exeter for sure.
Maybe in one of the lecture theatres or the seminar rooms.
Yeah, maybe
studying
very hard. Definitely not at TP. I don't know where I was for that, but yeah, luckily I got the chance to go to a World Cup, which how old was I? I'd been 21.
Yeah, young.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
that's unbelievable.
And I was like, this is so cool.
In France as well.
In France,
what a place.
All the families could come and watch as well because it wasn't too far. And I was like, this is such a cool experience. And the importance of the World Cup started getting heightened as close and close we got to traveling out to France for the World Cup. Because I remember it was like a normal camp. Suddenly the team gets named, and then we go back into camp, and then we're getting free stuff handed to us. We're getting like custom-made pillows for everyone. Everyone's getting like their own custom-made headphones. Everyone's getting like custom-made watches from I can't remember the company, like a decent company. We're all getting custom-made like World Cup watches, and I'm thinking, what's going on here?
The stakes are higher.
You're
getting loads of free stuff.
Yeah.
What about the prep? What about camp? Did it feel more intense?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I think I did that camp with Dav, our teammate here in Exeter, and we have always agreed that that's probably the hardest thing we'll ever do. Because that camp, till this day, I've never done anything as hard as that camp. Because like I said, we did a week and a half in the mountains in Switzerland. So that was in altitude. Just couldn't breathe. Just couldn't breathe.
You come back and normal air feels like...
Yeah, it feels like a luxury.
Yeah, exactly.
What about I don't know if we can talk about it, but the boys getting like kidnapped or like waterboarded in that was that priest?
Oh yeah. So we did
as part of training.
just do that.
Yeah. So I think Gats went through a point where he was just like, what can I do to make sure these boys are literally as primed as possible? So we did. We also did like a breathing / keeping your head in very extreme environments. So he had some army people come in, and they did like one of the days they did like a breathing session with us, and then another session we went to them then, and then I don't know how. It's not a secret, but like so what they did is we're in like basically in the jungle or woods, forests or whatever, and we're all hooded up. We're all in hoods. I'm like, what's got to do with rugby? We're all in hoods, and they're telling us, look, use your breathing mechanisms we practice in the other session, because you're about to go through some stuff, and the whole point of this is to keep your cool and not to panic, and try and keep your heart rate stable to a point where you can think and carry out tasks. So they put us through a bunch of stuff. I'm pretty sure at some point they were firing like fireworks, but very near us. But obviously we've got hoods on and stuff, so we don't know we don't know what's going on. And like certain people are getting dragged and stuff like that. Basically, the whole point was, look, you're not going to die, but we're going to put you through some stuff. and try and breathe whilst you do it. Whilst you do that to you. So,
and is it mayhem? Like, does everyone keep their cool, or like
no? So whilst one person's
like
being interrogated or whatever, we're all in a line, hood up.
Okay.
Like getting shouted at,
is everyone chill? That's my question though. Like, is everyone like, oh yeah?
After, because we're like, we're actually not going to die. But the fact that they didn't tell us what we were walking into.
Yeah. Okay.
No one was told, like, this is what we just got told, like, we're going to go to them for this session. So that had happened. But that didn't necessarily make us better rugby players. What made us better rugby players that pre-season was definitely the work we got through in the altitude. And then we also went to Turkey, which it was like 40 degrees. And we did a heat acclimation camp there, which was, that Turkey camp was the hardest thing I've done. Just purely because even when we were in Switzerland, after, you couldn't breathe, but you got used to it. And after a session, you could still do your extras, looking for the coaches, do your extras. But at Turkey, it was like sessions were 40 minutes long. And once those sessions were finished, you had to get inside.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was that bad. You had to get inside. So like that Turkey camp was ridiculous. Yeah. But as a whole, the World Cup, you can tell that the stakes were just so much higher. And we travelled well, we ate well, we trained at good facilities, and so it was just a sick experience overall.
I'm a numbers guy. So if you could like numerically compare it, like difficulty level to like a Chiefs pre-season, how many times harder do you reckon that is? Turkey specifically.
Let's say Chiefs pre-season in terms of
like difficulty, pain levels. Like,
let's say 10 is like, right, mate, you're going to hospital after this. I'm saying that World Cup pre-season camp was like a 8, and then the Chiefs pre-season like a 6.
Oh.
Like a 5 to 6.
Let's not give Rob Baxter any ideas about what's happened to our
just purely because that pre-World Cup camp, you could actually get to a point where you needed to go to a hospital.
Did people go?
Some people, no one ever went to hospital, but as in, like, if poorly planned, you could actually get to a point where you're going to hospital.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's intense.
Yeah.
And what happened during that World Cup, actually, before we go into like the whole block of games, I want to talk more about your first game against Portugal.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell us about that experience.
Again, like I said, I went to the World Cup. Luckily, I got the chance to go with Dav, one of my good mates here. So I was like, you know what, twinning.
Yin and yang over there.
Yeah, yin and yang. So we spent, so the World Cup period was probably like 4 months long altogether. If you add the pre-season and the World Cup itself, it was probably around 4 months altogether. And I'd say we spent nearly every day of that 4 months together. We always shared a room together. So I remember getting picked for my first game against Portugal. Again, it was cool. Do you know what I mean? I was like, this is class. I get to go to a World Cup, experience it. Like, I know I might not play. I'm still young. I'm 21. I might not play, but I'll take it all in, take as much as I can in, and enjoy the experience. But then I get the call up to play against Portugal. I'm thinking, this is sick. I tell my family, my sisters all came down. And my friends as well, and they all surprised me, and it was class. Yeah, we won that game as well, which just adds to it. It was good.
So the rest of the World Cup happens. When was your last cap for Wales? Was it during that World Cup, or did you play a few games after that?
No, played a few games after that.
Okay.
It was Autumn Nations not this one, just gone, the one previous.
The one before, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I've been in and out of a couple of injuries before then. Since then.
Okay. So you rack up 15 caps, in that period of time. I guess my next question is, that makes you a fairly like seasoned international player for Wales. And, we all know what's going on right now with the WRU and the Welsh international team. What's your take on that?
I think Wales obviously had something good going on. From 2009 up until to 2020, really. And I think because of that, like, we call it the golden era at Wales. And to me, from a personal point of view, it seems like they didn't plan for a backup. Almost like they didn't plan that those lads would ever grow old and retire, or grow old and retire from international rugby. and it seems like there wasn't enough young players bred into international rugby within those periods, just because the golden era boys were doing so well. It seems more of like there was a lack of planning of like, okay, after these boys, what next? Whereas you see a lot of international teams now, like before, international teams just used to be all senior boys and then maybe one or two like younger boys. But now I would say there's probably close to a 50-50 mix now with all international teams in terms of senior boys and your younger early 20s boys playing in, getting bred in, because no one really wants to make that mistake again, like Wales. And I think that's all it was. It was just a mistake of timing in terms of giving young boys international experience. And then unfortunately, we've just come to a point where all those boys that probably should have played, I don't know, 2-3 years ago, and not should have because they had to have earned it, but could have played 2-3 years ago, are only now just getting bred in. And unfortunately, it's just like the opposition in terms of experience-wise, we're just outnumbered caps-wise. But I will say this, in 2-3 years' time, we're probably going to have, I genuinely think in probably 3 years' time, we're going to have one of the strongest nations.
Just because you're blooding so many young guys.
Just because, there won't be a team with a total of as many young-blooded guys as Wales will have, really. But we have to take the pain at the moment. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
That's just what it is.
Yeah, it's a tough old period.
Yes. I mean, Italy went through something very similar, didn't they?
Yeah. They did go through something. Let's take, like you say, you're going to just take a tough couple of years. Like Italy went through a really tricky, maybe 4-5. Well, their whole, from when they were started, hasn't been plain sailing, but they went through a really tricky 4-5 years before recently, I guess. In the last 3-4 years, they've had this incredible movement. So yeah, they know. I mean, it's all cyclical. Like a lot of teams go through it as well. But
Exeter Chiefs even went through it. Last season.
Every team goes through it. It does happen, and I have so much faith in Wales, and sometimes as well, you just do have to hit rock bottom to work your way up and pull out the roots and work your way up work your way back up again. And I genuinely think that's what Wales will do. I'm very excited to see what Wales will be in 2-3 years' time.
Yeah, and no doubt you'll be a part of that.
Hopefully.
Touch wood if you're fit.
Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully.
So we'll start wrapping up.
Yeah. So
despite you not being able to grow any calf muscles, you've somehow managed to have a pretty successful career, which, it's been absolutely amazing to hear about. What's kept you grounded? What's kept you motivated in amongst the injuries, in amongst the highs? Yeah.
I think one major thing would be my family, and not in terms of a supporting point, but actually probably the opposite from an unsupportive point. But because rugby wasn't so big to them, they never made it such an inflated thing. Do you know what I mean? They never boosted my ego in it, they never pumped my tires about it just because it wasn't such a big thing to them. So then to me, that always made me like, not little, but it was like, okay, this ain't it. Do you know what I mean? It's not the end all and be all. Do you know what I mean? Like rugby ain't the end all and be all. So that was probably a massive part of it. Religion definitely comes into it as well. Just Christian family, Christian morals. You got to keep your head, fairly grounded and have Christian morals and values. So that definitely helped. And that's about it, really. People ask me a lot about if I had any role models growing up, but like I said, I never watched rugby, never played rugby, so I
still don't watch rugby.
I still can't play rugby either. So
hey, you can play it. I just don't watch it. So we're going to end on some general rapid fire questions that I've got for you here. So you can go into as much detail, as little detail as you want with these answers, but let's keep it moving fairly quickly. So 3 words you'd use to describe your playing style.
Oh, holy smokes. That's 2 words.
Don't know why that took me so long to calculate.
Playing style.
Yeah. Don't make me have to do this for you.
No, go on, you do it for me. How about you describe my playing style?
How about, okay. Why are you making me do it? I'll say one thing. Do you want to say another thing?
Yeah.
Right, okay. I'm going to go with dynamic.
I was going to go angry.
You think I get angry?
No, you don't get angry, but your actions seem angry.
Oh.
It's when those knees are going to like your head level, you're like thinking, wow, this guy runs angry.
Like some of those clips.
Yeah, some of those shots as well. Okay, you could pick your last word though.
Dynamic, angry, and level-headed, I would say at the same time.
Yeah,
I do play
complimentary.
with a very level-headed mind.
Okay. We need to go a bit quicker through these. Highlight of your career so far?
World Cup, first game for Wales, and my first Europe semi-final.
Yeah.
I think that was against Bordeaux.
Wow.
Yeah, Bordeaux away.
Biggest lesson you've learned during your career?
It's good to have a balance of work and life. It's good to have a good work-life balance.
Okay. We're going to expand on that in a second. Was there ever a moment in your career where you had to deal with imposter syndrome?
I wouldn't say so, no.
Okay. So if no, I think you've kind of already said it already. What about your story, life, has allowed you to kind of escape that feeling and know that you're good enough in whatever room you've walked into?
I think it's because I didn't have any expectations. So like, how can I not be good enough for something I never said I'd be good at?
Yeah.
So like every time I generally am in a rugby environment, I just think it's a pleasure to be here. It's amazing to be here.
Love that.
Yeah.
Best piece of advice anyone has ever given you?
Do it right the first time, you never have to do it again. That was from my mum.
Really?
Yeah, I probably.
That sounds like it was learnt to you some.
Yeah, I came through some pain. Do it once, so you never have to do it again. But it's true though, because then I applied that to everything in life, really studies included. Do it right the first time, you never have to do it again.
Have you had any bad advice from a coach?
Yeah, and it was probably the fact of he made me feel like I had to get angry every game, or I had to be, someone I wasn't every game. But when I got onto the pitch, that is, and again, like I said, I'm quite a level-headed person, so that wasn't who I was.
What is something about you that people, our viewers, wouldn't expect?
I take interest in the most random stuff.
What's piquing your interest right now?
I don't know. I'll like for the fun of it. I'll just design something online. I'll just make like a website for the fun of it. I'll just do like a Shopify website for the fun of it. I'll like take interest. Like I'm interested in cameras now for some reason. I remember I walked in and I was having a good look at all the cameras in the studio.
Name all the cameras. In the studio.
I take interest in very random things.
When you just nerd out.
Yeah, but I think that's good. I was talking about that work-life balance.
Yeah,
it's just when I finish training, I think it's good to have something else going on at home as well.
Yeah. So now we're going to move on to life beyond rugby. Just to wrap up. Obviously, you mentioned that you have recently got engaged, and we clapping? Yeah, we'll clap for that. That's huge. That's huge. Shout out Libby. And yeah, you are designing a fitness app, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, that's been one of my off the pitch
studious
projects.
Ventures.
Yeah, studious ventures. I do like going on little studious little adventures off the pitch. So
Tell us about it.
Yeah, at the moment, designing a fitness app. I used to work with Sam Warburton, and I like what they're doing. So again, I've ventured out and see if I could do something like that for myself. So I'm doing that with my friend I actually grew up with and went to school, and we grew up together playing rugby and all kinds of sport together. And he's currently a PT, and we were like, Chris, you're good with like little app creation, web creation, little stuff. And then he's a PT, so we're like, why don't we try? And I've got a genuine love for like health and fitness as well. I'm always, you guys all know, I'm always in the gym stretching. I probably spend half my career stretching and just trying to look after my body. I take a genuine interest in that. And like I said, he's a PT as well. And we thought, why don't we put our brains together and see what we could come up with. So at the moment, we got a brand called Drivn, and it's trying to help people get fit, really. Trying to help people get fit and try and change some people's lives for the better through fitness.
And is it like people of all fitness levels? Like, are you going to do, novices all the way up to professional? Like, who's your target audience?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're the whole point of it is to target. We're going to have coaches that can hit every single level of a client. So at the moment, we have coaches who have professional sport experience, who will be able to work with people who are, 16, 17, 18, like I was, who were kind of transitioning from that academy to trying to get into a senior team. Not everyone also makes it to senior rugby. There's a lot of players out there, not just football or rugby, just in any fitness level really, that don't go pro or fall through the gaps academy wise. So there'll be coaches out there that can help people from a strength and conditioning point of view. We also have coaches who would have specialized in just general personal training. So like I said, anyone who wants to put on muscle, lose weight, etc. And also we've then gone, right, there's fitness apps out there. How can we go the next step further? And then here we thought, you know what, there's actually not a lot in terms of like online physio clinics. So we also have physios on there who have, again, professional sport experience. Again, like I said, not everyone has access to physios. There's a lot of 16, 17-year-olds who might be carrying a little something, you know, they hurt themselves on the game on the weekend. They've got no direction really. So we've got online physio consultations there really. And from the consultation with the physios on the app, all done on the app, they'll then liaise with your strength and conditioning coach, and then your program gets changed. So it's all seamless. It's all seamless behind the scene. Pretty much what we have at professional sport really, but not everyone has. Not everyone has access to that. So that's what we're trying to do. And again, there's also a part on the app where we're calling it the Aspiring Pros, where we've kind of sat back and gone, right, when I was 15, 16, 17, what would I have wanted to know about professional sport? Or what would I have wanted to know about building muscle, losing weight, or just stuff like that? So there's a part we've embedded in called the Aspiring Pros, where we talk about, I don't know, agents, contracts, building muscle, losing weight, and stuff like that, or like prepping for away games. Not everyone gets access to that type of information. So it's kind of like where we're...
That's inspiring, isn't it?
Yeah. So we're trying to like give back to what, you know, from all the stuff I've learned at such a young age. I'm almost trying to feed that back, because not everyone gets access to that really.
Yeah. It sounds like it's going to cater to all fitness levels, but in a really detailed way.
Yeah.
And like all encompassing, whether it's, you know, gym, sport, rehab. Mate, it sounds really exciting. Yeah. And I can't wait for the app to be launched. I can't wait to see what you've done with it. See how you've nerded out over this app.
Yeah, I've nerded out hard.
I'll admit I've had a few sneak peeks in it, and it looks like it's going to be a really great thing. Chris, it has been awesome having you on here. You know, as someone who has been your teammate, is a friend of yours, has even lived with you at points in time, your story is truly, truly inspirational, and I hope you can look back on your journey, which, you know, is nowhere near done. I don't even think it's halfway through. And realize you've done some pretty cool stuff, and you should be pretty proud of yourself.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you.
So it was awesome having Chris on the podcast. I hope you guys have been inspired by not just his rugby prowess, but also his character. I don't know, something for me that I was really inspired by was how he seems to have a really good life balance. On the pitch, he's very focused, but he kind of takes it as it comes. But off the pitch, he's also got his passions and you know, the things that he nerds out over. And I think, you know, all players need that. So yeah, that's my thing. What's yours, Ross?
My best take from that was that he had absolutely no expectation when he went to play rugby with his mates, and still doesn't have expectation, just plays it for the enjoyment. And that's, I think, so relevant to a lot of young kids who put so much pressure on themselves to perform and to force results. Just go out and enjoy it, and you know, things will happen as they clearly did for Chrissy.
Thank you so much for joining us this episode. We hope to see you for our future ones, and we hope you've enjoyed it.
Cheers, guys.
See ya.